Is the video going?
Yes.
Okay. Hi guys, this is lycheepunnet with a whole bunch of freaking memers and two guys playing Dota. I thought we were unprofessional last time, but this takes the
Fuck.
proverbial cake, the proverbial Pepe cake.
What about the rare Pepe cake?
Anyway,
We have an
right,
actual
so
Pepe
let's
cake,
go roll
apparently.
call. Let's go roll call. So there's me and El Pres. We're top tiers, and then we have our associate memers. We've got Thomas the Danke Engine and Katsu.
I
who's
thought he was
building-
Thomas the Bim Bomb.
No, it's
Oh,
Tim
he's
Tom
Tim
the
Tom the
Bim Bomb
Bim
or
and
Thomas the
Thomas the
Tank
Dank
Engine.
Yeah. So we've got them. We've got Katsu. He's filling in for Butts and Coconuts. Samson Chow.
I'm just here to listen.
He's Samson Chow.
That's fine, but you're still here anyway. So you know who those guys are. Then we've got celednb. He's a chap who was on last one. He's another associate memer. Say hi.
Hello?
Yes, hello. That's good. So he's in a really weird time zone. So he's really he's at 6 a.m. The
He's
rest of us are
especially
at
upset.
time.
It's actually
About
7 now.
all
so
of these
whatever.
things.
7? Okay, that's fine.
I've
Delayed
had
for long
to
now.
listen to you guys for an hour, so it's alright.
These guys have been playing
An
Dota
hour.
now for ages. And then we have the most Australian of memers. I don't know what to call you, but he's the guy who runs Make Marika Great, the dead
Yeah,
blog.
fucking A, mate. Oh, the dead vlog.
He's
Nah,
the
still.
alcoholic of the stream.
Pretty
Phil
dead.
is good. Phil is very good. It's Samson Chow, yeah.
Samson Chow.
No,
is
you're
that
not
block.
Samson Chow. That's Butts.
I'm Samson Chow, actually.
You're Samson Chow for today. Is that no, that's not everyone. Then we have what do you want to be called?
Connor, whatever. I don't
Connor.
care.
Right, go with Connor. So he's
I'm not
Connor.
Samson, that's for sure.
He's not Samson.
Or
no.
are you?
He's a guy who wanted on the cast, and I said sure because he seems like he knows his shit. Anyway, so this is going to be a group Banlist cast because we have new Banlist and everything, and then we're going to talk about tier lists because everyone loves tier lists because I don't know why people like tier lists.
Well, they
They're not-
love our tier list anyway.
Yeah, our tier lists are great. They're actually correct. Anyway, so before anything else, let's go and talk about the ban list
Mm.
and the unban list. So what happened is Bushy Road slapped Cinderella Girls and Monogatari with restrictions because they got played way too much in trios and got played pretty significantly in Neo as well. So the restrictions were specifically Cinderella Girls gets a pick 1 of 3. Their pick 1 of 3 is between Miria, which is the Ricky clone, Kome, which is the it's unique and bullshit, and it lets you get
Oh,
climax.
nice.
Bullshit is appropriate.
And then there is Power of Smile Rin, which is the namesake, well, not namesake, but the signature finisher of the Triad Primus deck, and also splashable into other builds, I suppose. But it's basically meant to hit the Triad Primus deck by disallowing them usage of Ricky and Kome. Kome is a hit, Ricky is less of a hit, I suppose.
I mean, Ricky is still a hit.
It is a hit, but a lot of people didn't even run the card, so
Really?
whatever.
They didn't run Ricky?
Which I'm not sure I'd agree with, but sure.
It's a
Yeah,
small
well-
hit. It was like Conor
Yeah.
McGregor in round 1 against Nate
I
Diaz.
don't think you ran 4 in any circumstance.
Wait,
on
Nick-
that
You don't run
deck.
4, I don't think, but you definitely run some.
Nate Diaz
Anyway.
2 or Nate Diaz 1?
Nate Diaz won, mate. Moving on.
So, Monogatari, their ban list was between Smiling Till the End, Mayoi, the level 3 healer/finisher, the extremely over-spec but not particularly broken card, and Middle Schooler Shinobu, which is the 0/0 full-strength following Naruto clone from Persona 4. It's that Persona 4 sucks, so no one knows what that card does. So basically, it was their preemptive
Wait,
sack
it's
counter.
actually better than that, because it also gains 1/5 power on your turn for some reason. Persona 1 doesn't, while also not gaining any
Look, that's
other
fair.
ability and having some base.
That is fair enough. Okay, so it
Hashtag
is
strictly better.
I actually think
It
we're
is
about to
strictly
win.
Power creep.
We just
strictly
wiped.
better, but the reason you play it is for the Naruto effect, which is the bounce
Yeah.
back to the sack
Yeah.
counter. And also kind of for color fixing, but I don't think that's nearly as relevant.
No, you have Ricky's for
No,
color
It's a
fixing.
3-5 beater the turn you play it. Ooh.
Not in Japan, you don't have Ricky's for color fixing, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that shortly. The Shinobu is a preemptive sack counter. It's a big reason you played Monogatari at all. And the Mayoi is a super relevant endgame finisher. Just hits all the right spots in terms of being good. This Dota game is nearly over.
I'd like to mention that we were trying to finish the game as fast as possible, and he decides to dive that fountain.
Tom is BMing. He's BMing by running right into their spring. And then just... That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible.
Anyway, Radiant victory. Let's get
There
it
you
on.
go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Radiant wins.
So just play the victory music now, and then we can...
Wrong music. That's...
No, I don't think that's the correct music.
Okay, there we go.
My time is now.
Everyone gets to see the ban list now.
We also
So
get to see your OPS.
Monogatary's ban list was designed to either hit the most unique card played in the meta Monogatari deck, that is the Shinobu, or cripple their endgame by getting rid of their most, I guess, non-committal splash finisher /heal.
It's a
And-
heal.
And while we're at it, I'll just
Like, the important thing is that it does both things
Yeah.
at the same time for 2 stock. And
Yeah.
dodges on reverse stuff.
While we're at it, just shout outs to Josh Audi Benitez, who
Yes.
this is his
This is
little
his.
ban list image from Anime Macquarie. So
Yes, we
Yeah,
ask
so
him
I-
every time a
it's out-
ban list comes up if we can use his image.
Why does he have the Marika sign there, but not the Akagi or Hatsukaze signs?
I think he
Because-
really likes Marika.
Because
it's
or
also
the
a meme
Kome,
against me.
or the Miria.
Again, I
Anyway,
think he just
that's-
really likes Marika.
No, you guys don't get it. It's a joke about having Marika at 2.
Yeah, well, he's got Misakura. Oh, Misakuro's at 2. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Kudos to you, Josh Benitez.
Sick
Anyway.
memes, bro.
Very little else changed. So Misakura went up to 4. That doesn't do anything because Misakura was not played or shouldn't have been played in any meta decks.
Yo, but Index can run 4 Misakuros now.
Now there's
And you
an
can go in
argument
your
for
corner
it.
and meme over there. Lahal is now at 4, and that still doesn't
Not
do
a
anything
meme if
because
it's possibly true, man.
look, I could run Melty Blood. That is something I could absolutely have done for WGP, but that still makes it a meme.
Yep.
So Lahal's now at 4. Disgaea didn't do anything, and still won't do anything, because it doesn't have the requisite cards to be balked. Like, it's not broken, because it's just old.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does that do to our tier list? What does that do to deck viability? That is the question I'm asking everyone.
Did we even, like, let's see, the last time we were discussing Monogatari and IMAS, I don't think we even put them into, like, that tippy top tier section. So,
Well, because both
Wait, did we
didn't
do
have
the
their
last-
newest set released.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The tier list has changed since then because they
this
got
is
new
true. It has been a while since we've done an actual tier list.
Probably
Yeah.
for the good of the community, to be honest.
But let's see, like, I'm trying to remember, like, when we did the Monogatari videos, I think we put Monogatari at, what, A+?
Ah.
That
Oh, right, when you
right.
did the set review.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Like, the overview, right? We put
Sounds
it, like,
right.
A+A. I don't think we were, like, I don't think any of us were, like, particularly, like, blown away by what was happening in Monogatari.
Well, I mean, it's
Well,
extraordinarily
we also
solid,
called
right?
some of the cards wrong as well.
Well, I mean, we've
we
done
also,
that
we
before.
we didn't know
For the record, I
that
was
people would
biased.
play Monogatari in such numbers. Or
I'm
really,
gonna be real.
what the
This
actual
this
deck
Well,
ban
was.
that's-
list
that's
doesn't
just
make
the
any sense from like a power level standpoint. Like, I don't think any of these decks are more powerful than like Two Lover, for instance. But
Well, Monogatari is just a very Japanese deck from the defensive sense, and Trad Primus is idle, so
like, I mean, like, I don't
Yeah.
blame them. But like, I don't know, man.
Mm.
But like overall,
Look,
like, I don't think any of these bans really change anything.
What it does change is it shifts Monogatari and Trad Primus down a little in any prospective tier lists. Because Kome
Yeah.
was a big
I think it
part
hits
of
TP harder than it did Monogatari though.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Kome was
Kome was
Ridiculous.
pretty big because it lets you just spam stock souls every turn and have like 15 stock going into level 3, and then you win by compression. Now you have to work really hard to do that.
Oh man,
get
And-
free climaxes
Have to
every
play a
turn
game.
because
Yeah.
and you won't get that extra level of milling deck control.
you don't get free milling.
It still
Mhm.
mills a shit ton.
It
not-
mills 4 for no
Well,
reason,
like,
and then you
yeah.
get a climax back if you want it.
Yeah, but you still have the Azusa clone, and you still have a Mill 5 Brainstorm. So you still go through your deck pretty fast.
It's mostly the lower reach to climaxes, because that deck really liked to play a lot of stock souls turn after turn.
Yeah, just slam the stock souls constantly, be like a better girlfriend beta. That being said, I don't think Trade Primus was like oppressive or anything. It was a very good deck, a very comfortable deck. Now it is slightly less good, but it's still easily top 10 if you ask me.
I think the thing with Triad Primus anyway was just that what it did, it was kind of like Nisekoi in that what it did every single time without fail. But what it actually did was not necessarily like fantastic. So it lost to everything that did anything even marginally better, and it beat everything that any.
What you're trying to say is it had a really high floor and a lower ceiling than
Very
a lot
low ceiling, yeah. Well, the floor and the ceiling were actually on the same level.
Well, the ceiling is actually pretty good. It's just
I think it's
if the opponent's game goes well, your end game kind of sucks.
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's a good way of putting it.
That's the difference. Power of Smile is very easily like quintuple, or whatever the 6 prefix is cancelled because you're hitting so hard. And if you are confident in your compression, you can just empty field and do your do your Zhuge Liang thing, and then they don't do any damage to you.
Yeah.
Unless you're on.
Pretty much. And I think Monogatari sort of Monogatari I think is the more interesting discussion than IMS, just because look, Monogatari was very good before, but the 3/2 yellow, well, it wasn't necessarily like sort of seal the deal card. Like I think is there anyone here who thinks that you should be playing the 3/2 yellow over the 0/0 Shinobu? Because I think that's a very interesting perspective. Anyone has
Yes,
it?
I'm the only one.
Is anyone anyone who says that?
Yeah.
I think the difference between whether you value your end game or whether you value like what makes what makes Monogatari the deck that you're actually playing.
Yeah.
Like, because the unique thing about Monogatari is the Shinobu level 0.
One of many, but yeah.
Well, sure, but if you choose that, and I guess the advanced summon Shinobu, but if you like the advanced summon Shinobu,
that's like the poster child of the set, really.
Sure, I do.
I think if you don't play Snail, first of all, you're making the yellow thing, the entire yellow shell, a lot weaker, and your replacements all kind of suck, and you kind of need to keep up the pressure. Like Monogatari doesn't kill over in a turn, maybe not even 2. Monogatari kills over multiple turns, and the Snail just really helps you stay alive and actually put some pressure on the opponent, which none of the other cards do.
Sure.
That's fair. You can still run heals. They just won't be as good as Snail because obviously Snail is very good.
Yeah, like paying 2 for a vanilla heal that sometimes does something against Tulavru is not really what I'm looking for, to be honest. Like, you have to play them if you don't run Snail, obviously, but it kind of feels bad. And you have a ton of other good level 0s that you can run in the Build School Shinobu slot.
Well, you weren't hurting for level 0s at all. Like,
No.
The early builds of Monogatari, the ones that didn't even run Middle School Shinobu, they ran fine. They just weren't particularly special. And we're all about optimizing here, so we have to talk about...
No, I think I was just going to say that the difference here really is that if you run the Middle School Shinobi, you actually have game against the top decks. But if you don't, I don't think you have much game against the level 0, level 1 games of like TLR, PY, IMAS, all that sort of stuff. I don't think you have game against them if you don't have Shinobu.
Wait, how does Shinobu change anything against any of these top decks?
Okay, so being able to bounce against on reverse.
Yeah, it needs its advantage really badly. So if you stop their on reverse stuff, they're forced to rely on their brainstorm. But
the Shinobu doesn't give you advantage at all, unless.
But it denies them advantage.
That's the key point I'm getting at.
Yeah, but which of the top decks actually have a level 1 reverse combo?
TLR,
yes.
I think I think just TLR is enough to justify running it. But
Snail is really good against TLR.
Still has to reverse,
good against TLR. Versus TLR, you'd rather be like banking on winning in the mid game, going into level 3-0, and having clown glasses for backup.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like that's the game plan against Tulavru, and even if Snail helps that, it doesn't feel like it contributes to the core strategy of it.
Right, Primus relies on reverses too.
No, it helps because it heals you down to 3-0, while also putting enough pressure on the opponent because he stacked the burns on the Shinobu, that you can kill him over 2 turns, because otherwise you just don't kill him over 2 turns.
Well,
I think that's a little debatable.
but you still
World.
you're only getting like 1 or 2 extra damage with that anyway, and they do have darkness plan.
No. What what I wanted to talk about is the thing is you don't only get the burn, you get a soul, and that's really huge in a deck that doesn't play climaxes at level 3.
Oh, the soul. Okay, sure.
You just manipulate your attack counts, and that's just so valuable in this deck. And it's also why I think Toma is really good in Index.
I mean, I just think Toma's insane.
So there you go. Index is another deck that has reverse combos. Then you'd probably want to bounce against
Index has
as well.
reverse combos. What?
Time machine.
The time machine thing.
Time machine.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
I guess. I mean, I'm never like that upset if my time machine dies.
I don't know. I'm not really a fan of just sticking this in the back and just bouncing whatever whenever the opponent has something that does something on reverse, unless it's like really relevant. I don't think that's like a value play. You're spending, I don't. Unless you're reusing exactly like an Asa or something, it feels very.
Well, I mean, you get to do that quite a lot if you just put them to it. It's fairly common to reuse Asa like that.
Well, it depends on how you're placed into it.
Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, obviously, I personally don't play Guitari as much as like anyone else here does. But
like when the opponent has some on reverse stuff, he's just not gonna He's just gonna put his on reverse cards into the slot where you don't field Asa.
Yeah, sure. That's less value, but that's still fine.
Yeah.
You still.
I mean, I personally, from perspective, and I mean, you guys all know what I play, so obviously, like the way that deck plays is different to everything else. But I don't ever feel if someone plays the 3/2 like snail against me, I'm just kind of like, yeah, right, mate. Like that's okay. That's cute. I'm a little bit more worried. Like I'm a little bit more interested in my opponents being able to recur cards and have more control over what they're doing in the early game. Like that's something I'm more concerned about, even though I'm playing a non-interactive deck. So, for me, just sitting on the other side of the table, I'm certainly not worried if someone's playing a heal on me and like adding a soul and a cancel burn, as opposed to having gotten to that point consistently every time because they've had like this sort of additional part to their engine that they can reuse. As says, they can reuse on reverse stuff. They can reuse like, even bombs for some reason. Like if you need to reuse bombs or something, then sure.
Wait, how are you going to reuse a bomb?
Wait, how are you?
Can you not reuse the bomb?
No, but it's going to die if you used it on offense.
If someone fronted into your bomb, for example, if you left a bomb on, which isn't always the wrong play.
Wait, but it bounces before combat.
It has to be the front attack.
Oh, sorry, no, you're right. It is a front attack, isn't it? Yeah, so. But
it's gonna
bounce itself back.
Kind of bounces itself though.
Yeah, you can do that.
If you decide to run it.
Yeah, I mean, you could do some weird front row play with it. I guess it's not uncommon. But I think just because the Shinobu provides like a certain level of consistency and oil to the engine essentially that you've had before, I feel like that's slightly more, slightly scarier.
It is true.
It's a constant thing, yeah.
The deck
but
yeah,
sorry, okay.
Well, the deck doesn't have very many ways of recurring things besides triggering doors, right? So,
you just play enough copies of most things.
I mean, that means you're searching for Aldous instead of other things, right?
Well, let's go on to the controversial thing.
I mean, what's the main level 1 game for Monogatari right now? You play 4 of the Azusas and 4 of what else?
No, you don't. You play 4 of the Shinobu on reverse combo.
Yeah.
That's an on reverse top tier deck.
There you go.
And you play like 3 to 4 Azusa and some number of bombs, some number of 1/1s.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right?
You play bombs?
Oh, if you still run straight yellow red, which I don't think is correct, you run Kaiki instead.
Yeah. I think Kaiki is right. I think now undoubtedly you have to run green because you. Before you had the choice, now you definitely run green. Yeah.
And I'm obviously still gonna run green.
Yeah, and I think the question also now is whether or not you want to run that stock charging that you've got, like whether or not that's a good thing. I don't know. I'll leave that to the jury because you.
Yeah, we can talk about that a bit because so many Japan lists are running the 2/2 cat, and the
And what
build
about the
has a
field
very.
swapper?
They don't run the field swapper, which is
feel-
actually very confusing to me
I feel like the
because
field
those
swapper
two
is
work
really
together really well. But the thing is that
The reason you don't play the field swapper in normal Monogatari is because you obviously want to play Shinobu. So if you're not running
okay,
Shinobu,
sure. Yep.
you play the field swapper.
Yep, that makes sense.
but
Yep.
the
go.
thing is that built with the 2-2 cat with the
Yeah.
bar combo, it has like no good ways of accruing advantage except for sacking brainstorms.
And doors.
Right.
And
Oh,
wow,
I
yeah.
played a bond. I played a bond to the 2-1 advanced summon, which I think is very underrated. It's
Not very
It's-
commonly played either, yeah.
Is that
It's
the
a-
8K?
Yeah,
it's
the
a
8K.
2-1 8K that gets 1K from its bond. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like it lets you win the level 1 game pretty easily. Yeah, you're gonna have stuff in the front row that's just gonna die, but you can just have bombs there or something, and
Yeah.
that's less on reverse on reverse targets for your opponent. And the 2-1's just not gonna die unless it gets bounced.
Yeah. Balanced, so they have to put a significant amount of effort into it. Well, I guess like something like Toloveru isn't going to have an issue with pressuring it.
Well, you can
But-
pressure it, but just counter. It's fine.
Yeah, just counter is like that's you can't
No,
keep doing
actually, even with counter, you're not gonna get big enough.
Yeah, you can.
If
You just
you
need to
do
stack.
have-
You just need to stack a 1500 buff on the attacking lane.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
yeah.
what Yeah, even with the counter, you're
You're-
not bigger than love.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In terms of like the controversial stuff is what we're here for. So, Alfred, what should have gone on the ban list?
What should have gone on the ban list?
Yeah.
I don't think anything should have gone on the ban list.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that perspective. And I know a lot of people said that, say, like, Toloveru or Puyo Puyo should have gone on, or what was the other one?
Look, a ban list is first and foremost related to the metagame, and there
Yeah.
was no overly dominant deck that was also overly broken. Therefore, I think this is a good ban list because it tones down the brain-dead choices of Triad Primus, the most brain-dead deck in this game since... I can't
right.
remember a deck as brain-dead as Triad Primus, to be honest.
Zero Net Skymark.
I mean,
maybe?
Guilty Crown is
Rewrite?
pretty.
Guilty
Crown
Crown
has
is
some
not-
interesting brainstorm decisions, and Zero
Yeah.
Note's timer, like, actually is to fight at level 1. It's not just
It
slap
does,
down
yeah.
1-0s and
Sure.
sit there.
Sure.
I can't remember anything as brain dead as Triad Primus. And Monogatari
Rewrite. Rewrite.
Oh,
Rewrite.
okay,
That's I just
fine.
said rewrite. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Rewrite's pretty brain dead.
Keeping in with the theme of the deck, of course.
Yeah, keeping the theme with Ant's decks. Yeah, so Rewrite was a pretty brain dead deck, and
It got stacked.
Triad Primus matches it. And it's just such an easy to mash deck with such a high floor that if your opponent has any bad luck whatsoever, or if their game plan just doesn't go quite as they want it to, Triad Primus can just snowball if they don't have bad luck of their own. So that makes it a very stable Swiss deck, a very stable trios deck. And I can understand why it's popular in Japan, because it's fun.
Was the ban list primarily motivated by trios or just singles?
The big list, where there were like 60 Monogatari entrants and 60 Triad Primus entrants, was composed of trio results.
Okay.
Neo results were less significant, but still quite high in favor of Triad
No,
Primus.
that's super relevant because in a trios event, you wouldn't want to pick a deck that might be super spiky. Like if you're going to like a big event, right, where the goal is to win, right, you probably want to bring something like Puyo or Tular when if you're running hot, you just don't lose.
Yeah.
But if you're playing in a
think
teams
you-
event where you also need to like have your friends win too, then the goal is to just be as little of a burden as possible. Running hot is just not good enough when your friends might not be.
I think that's one perspective you can take, but either way, Japan has decided they want stability above everything else. I think that's a reasonable viewpoint, and because of
Yeah.
that, their decks were like their compositions were always like CG plus Monogatari plus one other one, usually a newer set.
I'm surprised
And
they
that was just all
weren't
it
running
was.
Index then.
Indexes
Milky
not their
Holmes
thing.
was fairly popular.
Yeah, Milky Holmes is more JP.
Yes.
Indexes, I really don't think Index is popular, like just globally in general. I don't think a lot of people actually play it.
I mean, apparently, besides the people who run this blog, who like what 5 of us own this deck,
Yeah.
It's also just $100 right now,
is it really?
which is
Is
pretty
it that
silly.
cheap? Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like under $100. A friend of mine just bought it of Yuyute.
I mean, the deck is really solid.
Which deck is this?
Index.
Index.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I mean,
Tom.
like,
Anyway,
The three next most played were Milky Holmes, Kantai, and Toloveru.
Okay, so what I think is Kantai is actually more stable than Monogatari. It's a
Yeah.
super solid field deck, and the reason it wasn't hit at all is because it just came out, there were no results, and people hadn't decided what the most optimal build was.
What
we
is
still
it?
We still haven't.
Yeah, we still haven't decided what the most optimal build is, but it too is a super stable deck that is less brain dead than Triad Primus, but depending on your level 1 lineup, it might actually just be more brain dead.
Well, like the green
hard to
lineup.
Let's see. Next was Milky. I mean, I don't think. I mean, there's.
Milky is a difficult deck to build. Like, it seems easy, but in practice, there's so many
It's hard
little
to play
things.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things you need to optimize both in deck building and playing that makes it a lot more difficult than people think it is. It's not just like slap 1-0s down, have 3 counters in hand, never lose anything. That's not how it goes. There's a lot more to it.
And then after that was Two Lever, right? Two Lever was 5th most played.
Yes.
Yes.
Tied with Kantai.
Oh, it was tied with Kantai. So was Milky above or below those?
Milky was above. Milky was 23. Kantai and Televery were 18 each.
Okay.
But remember, this is Trio's results, I'm pretty sure.
It is, yes.
You're looking at that graph. So
That's true.
Trios is, I think, a more competitive format than 1v1, simply because it is effectively a best out of 3.
Yep.
But again, it's still just the Japanese meta. And while they're obviously banning for the Japanese meta, we in other countries follow the ban list. So we need to dissect it in relation to our metagames.
Yeah.
So obviously the Railgun unbannings and the Lahao unbannings did nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is a person at my local metagame that plays fucking Disgaea, so I guess that's kind of relevant for me.
Sure, but
Sure.
Not a common deck.
I'm
though,
joking.
by any means.
needing.
It's not a relevant thing in my mind, and I don't
I
think
all
like
this is done. All this is done in terms of, like, if we want to take a tier list, we're going to. I don't know exactly how we want to formulate this tier list. I think it's reasonable if you want to split it into, like. There are lots of ways to do a tier list, but I think we just do a standard top-down tier list, S down to B or whatever.
Well, here's another way of doing it. Why don't we just decide on a deck that's S, a deck that is A plus, a deck that's A deck that's B plus, a deck that's B, and then match everything according to those 5.
Oh no, I mean that's what we want to do. I was just thinking, do we want to split it into like Swiss versus top cuts or best of
No,
one?
I think Swiss versus Top Cut is only relevant for like the top 5 decks.
I don't actually agree
Like-
with that. I think a lot of decks boast stability as their main staying point, and that makes them a lot better in Swiss than they would be.
Swiss, sure.
Like I
Yeah.
think Triad Primus goes from being
I think
like
I think
Triad
Yeah.
Primus is like a top 3 Swiss deck. I'm almost certain about this, and then it goes down to being like maybe top 6, top 7 in Top Cut, because you're going to be
Okay.
playing against very good players who know how to deal with you.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe we should just do like I don't know, so something in
I think we
between
just
those
do a
two.
tier list. We just
Yeah,
do a
we
tier
can do a
list
tier
from S down to B. So I guess without further ado, we should just start this. S tier. I know that Phil has a different opinion, but I think that Tlavru is still the only deck that is like above A plus. That's the only S tier deck because it still has anti-damage, it still has a serviceable mid game, and even if your opponent's like, yes, you can beat bad Tlavru players by stonewalling them, or if your opponent's a freaking scrub and gets rid of their only green and then fails to punish you like a certain idiot at their WGP. But I still think Tlavru, in the hands of a capable player against a capable metagame, is the best deck. It won
Okay.
Australian Nationals. That's all I have to say.
I agree with that sentiment. I think Two Lover more than any other deck has basically every tool going for it, and it has the ridiculous top end to boot, and it doesn't have to work very hard to assemble all the pieces either. I mean, Puyo Puyo has a similar top end and a fairly solid level 1 game, but to make your top end like basically bulletproof, you do have to work for it.
Puyo
Okay,
is
this
a lot
is-
worse from behind. That is the difference between Puyo and Tlavru.
Philip,
This
you
is what
run
I'll
the Two
say.
Soul.
Yeah, so what I'll say about that is, so given that I'm the only person perhaps in the world that plays Puyo Puyo as extensively and like essentially with the build that I run, I'm not going to say that it's S tier because obviously my sample size isn't enough. I will say I think it's awfully well positioned in the in the metagame. I would even go as far as to say is it's in its own tier list. It's in its own tier just below Talovru, but we're not going to do that. Because the way that that Puyo just dominates players who have no experience against it, which is the vast majority of the player base, is completely unparalleled by any other deck. Like, there's no other deck out there that can just go, I'm going to free fresh every single turn, and still finish with 10 cards in hand. Like, there's no other deck that can do that for 2 or 3 turns in a row. There's no other deck that can.
Fate can do that.
Fate can do that, but they will not have that many cards in hand, and it costs
They
them
don't need
resources.
that many cards in hand. They'll probably still have 7 cards pretty easily.
Okay, sure. Fate can do that. Let's say Fate can do that. There's no other deck that can finish. Like, I think undeniably Puyo has. Like, I know I'm an enormous advocate for Kaleido as well, but Puyo's finish is just so much more consistent than Kaleido's on so many levels. And I think, look, we can just stick it in A+ as, like, it is the basis. It is the top end of A+, and I don't think there's an argument against that.
No,
I think
I don't
I think
disagree.
that definitely needs blue.
Why
Yeah, you
RP?
need blue down.
There's blue in there,
will
mate.
be the second best deck in the game. I think that's a
Yep.
reasonable standpoint. But at the same
Yep.
time, there's a lot of other really good decks competing from those 2 to
Absolutely.
5, like places 2 to 5, and you can make a
Yeah.
good argument for any of them. I think Puyo's got a very compelling
think
one,
I think
and I personally
Puyo
would put it,
is
like top 3 at the very least.
Yeah,
Simply
I think
because it's so uninteractive.
Yeah, it's super
I think-
uninteractive, and I think the one thing that sets it apart is I do not think, and I think perhaps everyone here will disagree with me, but I do not think Talovru has a 50-50 matchup against Puyo Puyo. I think Talovru has a 45 or a 40 matchup against Puyo Puyo.
I wouldn't call 40.
Well,
I would
I've-
definitely never call
I've
40.
talked with you about that, and Puyo Puyo just has to work a lot harder against Lover because they need to grab 2 hexproof
Yeah,
supports.
I'll concede that, and I understand Puyo Puyo is an extraordinarily difficult deck to play optimally. But when it's one of those things. It's not like Triad Primus where you can play Triad Primus perfectly every game after a certain point in time. But
Well, I don't think I'm not sure about perfectly because making decisions with Asusa, it's just really easy to make mistakes no matter the deck. But you'll play it well enough.
I think you can play it very close to perfect. Like, you can play it almost computer perfect. Like, if you're gonna chess master a deck, which, like, obviously Make Marika Great has done little experiments with making programs that do that. Like, we do put in decks like Cinderella Girls. We do put in decks like just straight vanilla stuff like that. So obviously, yes, there is a ceiling to Puyo Puyo, which is like sort of like the Little Busters ceiling, in that no one's ever gonna get there.
Look, guys, quick interruption.
One thing about Puyo Puyo is I think it's a lot better in Top Cut than it's in Swiss.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, no, absolutely.
Look,
Yeah.
Because
guys,
it's just
I'm gonna interrupt for
kind
just
of
a moment,
unstable.
because we've got someone else coming on. He is I'll just add him to the call. He's the North American champion from last year, and he goes by, I don't know what he wants to go by, probably the Nightshadow. I'm just gonna add him to the call, and he'll join in when he does. But you guys can continue bickering about Puyo Puyo. Go for it.
No, I think what's been said is more than enough. Like, Puyo Puyo is where it is right now, and I think the difference between Puyo Puyo being an S tier or an A+ tier is who's playing it, not necessarily the deck itself.
I also think it's pretty dependent on just the metagame. If your metagame
Yeah,
is mostly
definitely.
things like Talovru, then yeah, Puyo's great. But if you've got decks like, I don't think Puyo is actually... The difference between Talovru and Puyo, in my opinion, is its matchups against the rest of the top 10 decks. Because anti-damage is a ridiculous card. Like, that is
Sure.
the sole reason I would say Talovru has anything over Puyo in terms of game plan. Because it
Yeah.
has anti-damage to ward off any decks that run like random decks like Schoolgirl Strikers, Axel World, bad Little Busters decks. All of these decks get bodied by anti-damage, or decks that don't have good finishes, like Index even. I think that also Puyo has a bad matchup against Charlotte, but that's kind of a joke.
No,
and
it doesn't. No, it does not.
I'm pretty sure it does.
I'm pretty sure it does.
I've played this matchup on stream.
And you've never played.
No, you
good
played to
Charlotte.
love. To love
Oh,
is a
did I
good
play To
matchup.
Love?
I don't think Puyo has a good matchup
I
because
played
to love
Puyo.
can actually sustain itself with the money counter.
I mean,
and it's
I-
hexproof to.
Where are you saying that Puyo loses to? Like, at what point in the game does Puyo lose to
Puyo
Charlotte?
doesn't do anything at its top end against
Uh,
Charlotte at all.
What do you mean?
At all points.
It blows it out the water. What are you talking about?
wait,
It
what? Do you,
doesn't
what
have a top
First
end.
of all,
how are you?
Shimakaze is really free against Puyo.
If you open with Maguro instead of opening with Amity, yes, but opening with Maguro is wrong, in my opinion, in that. But like, that's sure.
Well, you need for Amity, first of all, you need to be at 1-1. You need to have 2 colors, and you need to have the bounce and the suicider.
Yeah.
So that's like already a lot of pieces falling into place for you.
That's not.
That's
pieces.
not difficult. LB
Yeah.
wouldn't be a good deck if that was difficult.
Yeah.
The issue is that you just can't burn. You don't have anything top end.
Oh, sorry. Are you talking about? Oh, okay, right. Against the whole
Charlotte,
Yeah, no, I was thinking just like a straight
Misa-
yellow red.
yeah,
Yeah.
No, no.
No.
So no.
No. You're talking. No, yeah, you're talking about the anti-burn thing. Okay. Yeah.
wait.
no,
Even
sure.
in Yusumisa, you run anti-burn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you run anti-burn regardless. That's the reason you run Charlotte.
Yeah, sorry, I was completely thinking of it differently. Yeah, no, sure, I'll pay that.
That and Log Horizon are the matchups Puyo loses badly in compared to Talovru, but it has a good Talovru matchup. That's why I think it's still A+ tier. That's why it's a strong enough game plan even without that. It just has some pretty mediocre matchups that Talovru doesn't. That's why I think Talovru's up there.
Okay, sure. I think I will say though, in that whole Charlotte, we'll just take Charlotte for example, because I have played against Charlotte, and so obviously the question isn't whether or not they're going to get anti-burn in, because it's pretty straightforward to get it in there. Although clock suiciders are a thing, so that's a sick meme if ever you need it.
It's
No.
not gonna happen. They're gonna ram it in.
Clock, not stock. Don't be like that.
From
And
Puyo.
I have played against it, and what I did do was essentially just because I compress better than they do, and I can get to the point where I'm just like refreshing anytime that I need to, and I can just refresh with 8 climaxes going into their turn every single, or 8 or 7 climaxes, and just ram stock souls and 1k1s into their face. Like, because Charlotte doesn't have sustainable resources going into the end game, like, which it really doesn't. It burns out quite hard in the level 1 to level 2 transition. Because it has that period of time where it's just sort of like backfooting, and that's actually the period where Puyo is strongest. You can actually end up in a situation where you're sitting at 2-3 and they're sitting at 3-1, and that's not unreasonable to expect. And I think that is the game plan against that sort of deck. But like, obviously, I'm the only person who even plays this deck, so who actually cares? It's sort of like one
know,
case.
but, I don't think
he's
Charlotte
survived
actually
from
ever
Charlotte.
runs out of resources because you're not killing any of their cards.
Yeah, you are. Of course you are. You have bombs,
No,
man.
you're not. How are you killing anything?
They have level 1s, do they not?
Sure, but then your level 3s die to their 2-1 assassins, and then you've got like nothing except level
But you
1s.
play more of them.
And they've got 11-5 of super defensive scries.
Yeah, well, you can still.
Transform
Aal
to
is
humans.
Aal is not a
Whenever.
dead card.
All
is
still
not a
gonna be
dead card.
big, but
Aal is fucking fat.
All right,
Right.
she can be fat, but what does that matter?
I think perhaps maybe like the issue with this discussion is because I think in the theoretical perspective, that's probably, I think you're probably correct. I don't think I'm the best person to ask when it comes to how to play that matchup, because first of all, I have hardly played it, and second of all, the only times that I have played it have essentially just been like go hot. Well, not even go hot, just do what I do, say refresh and work off a compression based thing, which I don't think is a sort of like mind switch that really makes sense in Puyo, and I don't think the correct play is the one that makes the most sense in those like weird matchups. But I don't think, okay, we're just running through my blog, are we? Someone just scrolling through my blog there.
yes.
Hello.
Hello. We can do
Good
this.
stuff. Anyway, let's just move on to. I think I will agree that like we'll stick Puyo in A+, or at the top of A+, and I think we can probably set up the other tiers. So what do we think is going to go into A? Like
I don't
what is a
think we do that. I don't think we set up guide points. We just list the next
Just
few
okay.
best decks, and we'll cut off at an arbitrary point, because there is a pretty obvious divider as to what's an A deck, what's a B+ deck, whatever. So we'll just keep going down the line.
IMAS?
IMAS.
Both types.
I like both IMAS in A+ right now. Although I think Cinderella Girls would be at the
I
bottom
think
end of
Cinderella Girls is a bit
Yeah.
weaker
Cinderella
than
Girls
the
isn't at the
original.
level of 765. No.
Yeah.
Is it unreasonable to think that CG could be possibly an A instead of A plus?
I think that's
Uh,
possible.
He'd be at the top of A,
possibly,
but
yeah.
I don't think it is.
I think if you split it like into Swiss and top cut decks, then sure you can make CG A plus in Swiss and A in top cut.
I think.
That actually would be
not
helpful.
doing that.
No, I think we'll not do that. It's gonna take forever.
Fair enough.
I think
Busters
definitely
would fit in.
Gatorade is still up there.
Yeah, Monogatari's still there.
Yeah, and Index. I like Index.
I think I still put
is up
Index
Why
up
forget about
here.
Index? Yeah, Index is there.
Master Fate, I think, is
and
also
Fate
up there.
Master, yeah. Or Fate, whatever it's called. I don't know what the right.
Yeah, it's the master bit.
If we're
Build.
gonna list all of these, I'm pretty sure Little Busters goes there
Yeah,
as
Little
well.
And Little
Busters.
Busters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these decks you're listing that I'm like, oh well, LB is better than this deck.
Do you think what do you think's better right now? Twins or Two Soul? I personally think I was gonna say I still think Twins is like extraordinarily high up though.
Twins is like a pretty strong. I could see it being near the bottom of A tier. The
Okay.
issue is that if it draws too many climaxes and doesn't have good discard out, it doesn't have good
Sure.
discard outs.
I think Twins is a pretty superlative ceiling. It's just that it's very
Yeah.
beholden to luck of the draw.
Like LB Twins has one of the best ceilings in the game, bar none. It's one of the
Yeah.
best mid games, bar none. But
Yeah.
it also hasn't got very much damage control, and that's
Yep.
pretty important.
Milky, I think goes in A plus as well.
Milky's A
Yeah.
plus.
Yes, Milky is A plus.
And I think that's about everything goes.
Kantai's A plus.
I think
right?
I think
Kantai
Contact
equally
goes
up.
up here too.
Kantai, yeah.
It's quite a
I was gonna
high
say
plus.
Kantai is pretty borderline, but okay, sure. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm
Kantai's
not sure.
that
Can't
good.
take that.
It is actually
And
that good.
I am
I think Kantai is
personally-
that good.
I'm
Not at the
personally of
bottom.
the opinion that Kaleidoscope fits in there, but let's not get into that.
Now, Kaleidoscope is top of A tier, if you ask me. It just doesn't do much at level 1. All it does is sit on things and counters, and you can't even
Well,
play half
it's
climaxes.
got a pretty solid wall game, but I think it's like the same. It's like not the same as Puyo. It's less consistent than Puyo. It's
I think it just
being
dies.
like basically the same deck.
I mean,
it just
all
doesn't
the-
have a solid
No.
secondary
It is
game plan,
nothing
though.
like Puyo, if you ask me. Puyo
yeah,
just does
Puyo
its
can
own
actu- yeah.
if I wanted to play a
whereas
wall deck,
Ilya
I'm
has
just
to
gonna be,
interact.
if I want to play a wall deck, I'm just gonna be playing Rider. Like that's all there really is to
Or
it.
765.
Yeah.
If we're already
Kaleido
doing
is-
it, it's Madoka
top
keep it
end.
now.
The thing with Kaleido is that the end game you can solve it. Like it is a perfect end game. It is mathematically possible to play it in such a way that you will triple Kaleido every time. And I think that's the crux. But the hard thing is getting the 10 stock, which you need to do that. 11. No, it's 11 that you need to do it perfectly.
No, triple Kaleido?
You need
Yeah.
What
8
do you mean?
going into
No,
the
you
turn.
need 11
11.
going into the turn. Yeah.
Is it
Why?
pay 1, discard the climax?
No, it's just discard.
No. Wait, what? No. Sorry. No, you do need 11, but it's because of the number of times you need to go through your deck.
Is Fate
Ah.
Master really top A plus?
I
I
would
don't
put it
think
in A.
so.
I think.
I would
I
put
think
it
it's
in
A.
I think it's
Oh,
just
okay.
A, because the thing I associate with Fate Master right now is actually To Love Your Animal, and that deck I would not call an A plus deck.
I would
Okay,
call it an 8 tier
sure.
deck though.
Yeah, it's absolutely A tier.
Yeah.
Like probably near the top of A tier to be honest, but
I see it close to at least a
Wait,
Kaleido.
I'm still confused about the Kaleidoscope deck.
Oh, okay.
Triple Kaleidoscope, do you mean like 3 burns on each attack?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So that requires what goes on your board is going to be either it's going to be 3 Ilias and one of the
Mayu.
set 1 Mayu and one of the new Mayu if you need the anti-event against Index for some reason or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't
Or
think
it's-
triple Kaleido is going to be a goal.
I
Double
don't think
is
I
always
do
going
not
to be.
think you play the 3-2 Miyu. That seems
think-
incorrect.
Well, the other no, I think against in some matchups I think you do need it against say I don't know, what's it
Well,
called
like-
Index? Yeah, they
Even
probably
if you still
do.
run it, you only run it as a 1-0.
Yeah, you do
No,
on your
that's-
one.
That
The only other
seems-
thing.
It's
No.
only one matchup. I wouldn't run a valuable slot in Kaleidoscope just for one matchup.
The other thing is it's a draw to ditch 1 instead of a checked off X, which is a slight difference. And having the 5th draw 2 ditch one is relevant depending on what the arrangement of your deck is, and if you have the 4th Climax in stock, or if you have it in deck. But Kaleido in there, Guilty Crown, I think is still A. I think Guilty Crown is sort of like the hallmark A tier.
I am very, very, very much in disagreement with that, but
I think it's
As-
the baseline of A tier.
no, I think Guilty Crown is the baseline of maybe B+.
Oh boy.
A minus,
Um,
A plus.
Dang.
Doesn't even do anything.
I
Does that
think
mean
Guilty
Terraformers
Crown is
has to
A-.
be
good
shifted
at
to
doing
B?
nothing.
You just brainstorm
so
twice a
Actually-
turn. That's like whatever.
Terraformers would be like the same tier as Guilty Crown for me still.
I think so.
Where are we putting Sal and Nisekoi?
I
Let's
think
say
they're
I-
A.
They go here.
They go
SAO
here,
and
yeah.
CCA probably go in A tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I still
Same
think
thing with Madoka?
Nisekoi is so strong.
I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
saying-
Madoka's
it's,
probably.
it's not that Nisekoi isn't strong. It's just like anything that
Everything
Nisekoi
else
does,
looks
everyone
stronger.
else can do that now,
Yeah.
right? Like the only thing that Nisekoi has going for it is like you still have Marika, which is probably like individually one of the strongest finishers ever printed, but there are so many more ways to play around it now.
Yeah, now there's a lot
There's
of
an army in a can, and actually, the rise of all of these non-reverse finishers, like, basically everything's a non-reverse finisher nowadays. Yami, Aal, Musashi, Imas Haruka, Kaleidoscope, all of these cards, they're not on reverse, so people are actually running fewer stack counters. I see CG lists without stack counters as well.
But I mean,
Yeah,
like
I do think it's gonna pop up.
against some of those
Well,
decks, though,
that's
like Two Lover,
always going to
Kantai,
be
they're
a
still
mistake,
running
though.
anti-damage.
Yes, sure, but that's
Took
still
it
one
time
deck. Fine.
Nisekoi is probably also a deck that you can like make the distinction between Swiss and Top Cut, where it's significantly better in Swiss than in Top Cut.
I don't think Nisekoi is at the same level as Guilty Crown. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't put Guilty Crown in A tier.
Okay, sure.
I love
What
Kaleidoscope
about-
as the next guy, but no.
No.
Madoka
So,
maybe.
It is a better Guilty Crown. It is just a better Guilty Crown.
Let's see.
Madoka, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I put Madoka up yet. Madoka.
Is
Madoka and SAO, like, obviously the green-blue variants.
Are the same,
GFB goes here probably.
Yeah.
Like, for Sal, you mean
we
G-
just put
green blue that flashes
GFB
yellow,
in?
right?
B plus.
Yeah, green-blue splash yellow is SAO.
Yeah.
Green, blue, splash, yellow.
No one say
Yeah.
lightning flash.
And then for Madoka, it's just the standard green blue, potentially
Green,
splash
red, blue. It's green, red, blue.
Yeah.
Green, red, blue.
Okay, now here's something we missed. I think Excel World is A+ tier.
You're wrong.
Wow.
I think it's A.
I think it's
You're
I think
wrong.
it's just a.
I think Excel World is
Wait,
A.
wait.
it's
So on
top
what
of it.
on what grounds is a cell roll A plus?
Okay, so it has one of the best level 1 snowball games.
No, it
So-
doesn't.
The green combo, yes it does.
But the stock thing,
What stock thing?
not the stock thing, the heal Accelerino thing. Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
no, the stock.
No,
He's talking about
no,
he's talking
bar
about stock
combo.
combo. He's
No,
talking
no,
about
it's a bar combo. On reverse, you stock a card from waiting room and you give
Yeah,
someone
the
one.
stock combo. That's what I just said. Yeah, go.
Yeah. You do that, then you use Hime, and that's a +2 right there. And then you've got
Okay.
everything you want. And
And
the end
what do
game
you-
is quite formidable.
No, it's not.
What are you running as your end game?
The
Is
end
it
ga- the
that
end
silly
game
thing
runs
that gives
straight
everyone
into
the
money
freaking
counter.
the mill burn and really hope you hit level 3s?
The pray and spray, yes, that's what it gives it,
But,
and
like-
I think that's fine.
That card hits 50% of the time on level
Less.
1s or better.
Less.
No, it doesn't if you are stocking level 0s with the level 1 combo.
And if you're
Yeah,
leveling level
you
zeros
do
as
get to
well.
choose what you stock. So I mean,
No.
Let's
No.
see. So
You also get to choose what to put in your hand too. Like
Um,
if you're preparing for a Kuryu turn, you're
How-
gonna
so
possibly
how many level
search out.
2s are you running in this build? I'm
Uh,
assuming 10 level 3s, by the way.
The
Yeah,
refresh
you'd be running
counter.
like 10 plus level
anti-change
3s, you're
ball.
running a heap of level 1s, because just burning for 1 is fine, that's what Yami does. And you'd be running like 14 to 16 zeros, plus climaxes obviously, a number of which will be in your stock and or in your wherever. Yes, you're still spray and spraying, that's fine, but the level 1 game is actually quite good.
You know what the problem with the level 1
thing
game
about
is?
the level 1 game
Yeah,
is
okay. Yeah.
the bar combo. You need to activate a startup to actually be kind of big. That's actually not that easy with Excel Word.
We have a
Well,
brainstorm that
we're
pumps
assuming you have the
1500 on
brainstorm.
play.
That you play
Well,
it on that
yeah, that's
turn.
like the thing. Where do you play the brainstorm?
Well, yeah, you
Wait,
absolutely
why
play
would
the
you not play the brainstorm?
No.
Where?
You play the brainstorm obviously, but you kind of slot issues. You don't really want to play it on the field.
Wait, why not?
Why not?
What?
What's your back row?
Is your back row going to be your brainstorm and the Excel supporter?
And like the global search or the global
Yeah.
support, yeah.
Yeah.
So you play the brainstorm, give something 1/5, and then start reversing things. This is assuming your opponent gives you stuff to reverse, which is not always likely. If you're playing against a very good player who has gotten lucky and gotten to the point where they hit level 1 first and they have a really good wall game, and they're a deck that wants to wall, then yeah, Accel World's level 1 potential is stymied significantly.
What are we calling the
even
best
so-
wall decks right now?
The best wall decks are probably Kantai, Namco Pro,
765?
and obviously the dedicated wall ones like Samus Voice and Rider.
The issue with Axel World is it does what Talaveru, Puyo Puyo, 765, and Milky do, but worse.
No, see, here's the difference. What Accel World does is it can put all of its buffs, all of its advantage onto one card. So it's actually doing what CG does, but better, because you're getting 2 pluses for one accelerate or whatever, and then the other cards can just be walls or they can be snowball potential. So you have adaptability depending on how the game is going to go. Like, CG requires that you keep up walls in order to keep up advantage, but because Accel World gets you multiple cards off the single reverse, it lets you do whatever you want with the rest of your level 1 slots. You can play bombs, you can play 6/5s, you can go for your bar combo if that's what you want. And I think that's a really important thing to have, especially since everyone's wised up and is now playing mostly runners and things that kill themselves on the turn going into their opponent's level 1. That's a really big point. Like, against good players, they're going to empty their fields as much as possible. And because Accel World can do just as much by killing one card as it can by killing, as other decks can by killing 2 or 3, that gives it a lot of game in my eyes.
I actually don't think there's a wall deck in the game that will deny Accel World its plus at level 1.
I also agree. Like, Accel World gets huge.
If you want it to, the Kuroyuki Hime will get up to around 11k.
Yeah, 11 or 12k pretty
yeah.
easily.
It's not that hard.
It'll be dead on the swing back, but that's fine. You've already gotten your advantage. You've gotten a bunch of searches, pulled some cards out of your deck, and the game.
Will
like,
it be
you've
dead
had
though? Because you're giving it the 1500
Index can
buff
dodge
from the
it for
cheer,
what
right?
it's worth.
Well, Index
Sorry?
Index lives and dies by the ability to say just like, no, you don't get to reverse me.
Kuroyuki Hime might not even die because you're probably pumping. You can pump it with the Cheery gold bar. combo.
Yeah, that's fine. But
you
that
at least
assumes
want
that
the
you use
last
the gold
one.
bar at all.
yeah.
Look, I just
okay,
think
yeah.
that
Assuming you use the gold bar, of course.
here's the thing is, it has despite Accelerate being like a garbage mechanic, it has been pushed enough here to the point where it is part of a viable nutritional game plan. Like, it is your balanced breakfast. It is your floor. And if your opponent gives you the opportunity, you can snowball ridiculously. Like, each Cheery gives extra power to something till the end of your opponent's next turn. You have a 2k counter, conditionless, and you have your search combo regardless. If your opponent lets you do things, it's obscene. If your opponent doesn't let you do things, you still have a lot of game. It's halfway between being uninteractive and being fully interactive, in that it can be interactive at once, and if it's good for it, and that it can be non-interactive if that's what you need be.
I think the issue that I have 2 issues with Accel World. So the first one is running Accelerate at all. So I think Accelerate is just a strict liability. And I don't think I can't metrically say in any circumstance that clocking 1 is worth the search effect that you're getting at that point. It's not a Ricky. It's very different, and that has to be evaluated differently. I don't think that can ever fly. I don't think the finisher is significant enough, and I just want to ask, because obviously I don't put much stock into Accel Worlds. I've never bothered building it. What do you do at level 2?
You play
play
anti-change
Hornet.
bombs and an early play healer.
Sorry, you play the
Anti-change bomb and a early play healer. 2 or less climax condition.
Okay.
Not that one, the red one.
And the anti-change heal. Anti-change bomb.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, the healer is really small. It's a double R. It's
Oh,
not.
found it.
That one.
Yeah.
Found it.
Is that 9K? 8.5.
It is
9.5.
9.5.
That's 9.5.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get power.
It does not get bigger.
Do you run the combo? No, I'm guessing.
No.
No, you
No,
don't.
if you really run the bar.
There's no way you can run the bar
Oh.
combo this
Oh, okay.
and
You're running
the
a bar
karaoke
and
Hime combo.
see, that's just. I don't think we're not in a
I
year
think
of
you have a
game.
I think you have a fundamental misunderstanding. You're equivocating this accelerate thing.
Fundamental. No, I just specifically said that it's not Ricky and it has to be evaluated differently.
No, it's better than Ricky. You're paying 1 and clocking 1 to get 2 cards.
But you're also okay. I don't think you can afford nowadays. Okay, so these are two things. First of all, I don't think you can afford nowadays to be doing something like that more than once per game.
You're not doing it
You don't need to do it more than once per game.
Okay, so you do it only once.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Like I said, 1 accelerate will get you 2 cards pretty consistently.
Yeah, so one accelerate gives you 2 cards. So you've zero summed the number of cards. Like you've started and ended the turn with the same number of cards. If that's all you've done to plus, right? You've drawn, you've clocked. There's 2 cards. You've gotten your 2 off your accelerate thing. That's 4 cards, and you've played 3 cards in a climax. That's what you're telling me. So you're back to where you started. Okay, that's fine. So that's not sustainable. If all you're doing is zero summing every turn, which I don't think you are if you're only playing that once per game.
What is your point? I don't understand your point, especially because
I don't think it's
Puyo, which is a deck that doesn't even have the advantage of being able to keep a field.
But Puyo doesn't need to keep a field.
Correct. You don't need to keep a field. All you do is keep plussing every single turn. But
so yeah, okay, but you're saying you're going to zero sum every turn, and somehow you're going to end up sustainable enough to keep up in damage, even though you're like essentially throwing away a free damage every time. Okay, say you only use it once. Second of all, I don't think that level 2 game is strong enough. I think you will fall behind in level 2. And thirdly, I don't think the 3-2 is good enough. The general, just the finisher. I just don't think that's good enough.
I think it's fine if you're eliminating their best 3-2.
What do you mean you're eliminating their best 3-2?
You have an anti-change bomb.
I mean, that's only relevant.
No.
That's
He's
not
talking
relevant
about
level
the finish.
3.
He's talking
No,
about
the finisher.
Oh,
No,
the Kuryoka Hime. Yeah, whatever. That card is fine. It still heals, and it still probably hits them a few times. It's absolutely fine.
I don't think you finish the game in 1 turn, which I don't think is good enough.
Well, you're not going to finish the game in 1 turn.
I don't think that's good enough because you're essentially doing what Tulagru and Puyo do, but worse. And
that very rarely happens to finish the game in 1 turn.
Well, of course, Puyo and Tulagru finish games in 1 turn all the time.
Well, okay, sure. If your opponent's bad and lets you get them to 3-2.
I mean, it's not a question of bad. It's just the way how the numbers roll in those ones. But I think this. Okay, the Koryu is. It seems very, very underwhelming. Like hitting even a single 0 off that, a 0 or a climax, which is going to happen, makes it bad. Like as soon as you hit 0 with any of those effects, it becomes bad. And I don't think that's good enough, like to set up.
Okay, so my issue with your evaluation is that your baseline is Puyo, the best deck in A+ tier.
No, I'm not basing it off Puyo.
You are basing it off Puyo. You absolutely are. That is 100% what you're doing, even if it's unconscious. It's pretty obvious.
No,
Now,
I think if you miss one burn, it's worse than a lot of finishes. I don't think
worse than
that's.
what? You know that you get 2 burns per.
Yeah,
Kuryu.
if you miss 1 burn, it's still Tulagru. Minus Hexproof.
You get
The
2
Hexproof
burns.
is a
He means
big
if
deal.
you miss one burn on each Kuryuki Hime.
No.
Just
If you,
on
I think
average.
if you miss 1 on each Koryu, which is perfectly like that's something which you can expect to happen as well. But isn't this one ends up with a total of how many burns? Is it 5 or is it 6?
6.
It is 6.
Okay, so you end up with 6. The missing 1 makes it okay. Missing 1 on each is, I don't think, super unlikely because are you really going to get what you're gonna stock all of your 0s? You're going to play out a bunch of them. You're going to still end up with, climaxes plus 0s in deck.
That's
So
fine, but
You're going
That
to
is
hit
absolutely
0s on
fine.
I think you expect to miss 2 total, probably, but you're also hitting for more than 1 damage on
exactly.
some
You're
of
also
those
hitting for
turns.
2s and 3s, and that's very relevant.
Okay. fine, we'll grant that. This is very weak to anti-damage. I think that's a big deal as well.
I think the anti-damage is a bigger issue I have with the card than
I think that's a reasonable argument.
like.
But that doesn't stop. Look, that doesn't stop other decks from being A+.
No, no.
So
But
what
I'm not saying the effect is bad, right? Like the effect is fine. It's just I wish it was more consistent. But that's
Another thing is you don't have any way to dig for the climax, really.
Yeah.
You play like one copy of the 3/2
You
that
play
is
black
draw
ones,
2
I
ditch,
guess.
but that's not really that much.
You
I
know,
don't
that
think
is,
digging for the
that is a
climax-
valid downside. I think that is reasonable to say. But I still think you're underestimating how good that mid game is at just doing what it needs to do.
Okay. Fine.
I think
Well, I
mid
think you
game
can
at
make a
level
case.
1 is fine, but you fall behind at 2.
Look, that's fine. Talavru falls behind it too. They don't have
Clover
it.
doesn't have a
doesn't.
level 2 game.
Nemesis for 1 turn is fine.
I agree, but you don't always have that.
What? Of course you do.
No, you don't. If your opponent's any good, you won't always have it.
They
Wait,
can't.
which-
What?
which
No,
Nemesis?
Your opponent can't control you or the 2/1/2 soul. Is what I'm
Oh,
talking
that card
about.
is beautiful.
I
Their
know what
opponent
you're
can't
doing.
Their
control
card's very
that.
good.
You're going to be using your searches on other attackers. You're going to be using your brainstorms on other attackers. You won't always have that unless you're having a pretty good game and your opponent that you farm.
Play ahead more. All right. I don't think we.
play ahead more.
Yes, you can.
You play ahead
Otherwise,
turns.
otherwise I would
Well-
never win with Puyo. Now, I don't think we can like solidly put Excel World in. You think you can? Okay, I'll take it that it's a high A. I'll take that definitely. I'll take it being around Fate Master, or look, I could even take someone saying it's around Kantai, and I don't know if Kantai is A+. It might be right at the bottom of A+. I don't think
Have
you can
played
solidly
Kantai?
put it. I've played. Well, this is the thing. I played against so many new builds of Kantai. I don't know whether it's supposed to be the green one or the red thing or like what we're supposed to be doing now. So
Definitely not the red thing.
Oh, red thing.
I don't know. I've seen some stuff like people pulling out
Like red
time.
valuation at all, I think, is just incorrect.
Well, I think I've seen everything from tea time to the Germans build, apple strudel build, whatever you want to call it.
Have something in there regardless.
Yeah, look, I don't know what the build is for Kantai now, but I don't think we can solidly put Axel World in it. I think if you want to put it in, A plus minus tier,
That
Go
doesn't
for it.
exist.
I like to say that I think it's just solidly a step above Nisekoi. And wherever that is, that's where it is.
These tiers are definitely not in order of strength.
He's not.
Yeah, no,
Of course, of course, of course.
I think
absolute
it's-
no.
I think it can be an A tier. It's definitely an A tier.
I think SL World's at least A tier, but I don't think it's necessarily
I
quite
think
A
it's
plus. I think
It's A minimum. A minimum.
I
for
think
sure.
the weakness
That's
to
fair.
anti-damage
That's
is
fair.
super
I just
relevant.
have this viewpoint. I've been talking with other players. I think it's reasonable. But if that's the consensus, I'm happy to let it sit in high A tier.
yeah, you
I
are.
think high A is where it belongs.
Agreed.
Do you want to have a Vegemite bet about it?
God,
I actually have Vegemite.
why?
If
Don't ask.
Excel World post results, okay, significant consistent results, I will
Don't
eat a
make
pot
that
of
bet.
Vegemite on stream.
Oh,
Don't make
shit.
Oh
that
my
bet.
god.
It'll
Make
post
that bet.
results.
Make
It'll
that
pick-
bet.
it'll
He
post
just-
results
he
because
just
people
made
like
that
Kiryu
bet.
He
Fifty.
just made that bet.
He's-
It just
Moves
happened.
I just-
on, boys.
I
Yeah,
just is it on? Is it on or not?
It's on.
Come on.
It's on.
Who's
Oh my
gonna go
God.
against me if it does? Because if it doesn't, which is what I'm saying, then you're gonna have to eat a pot of Vegemite on stream. So who's gonna
the
take that
only
up?
one who
can't
could
get
eat potty Vegemite here, other than you, is me.
Well, Alfred, I guess
I
you're gonna
will
be
take
eating a
that
pot
bet.
of
I will
Vegemite.
take that bet. I
Alright.
will take that bet. And if there's anything resembling consistent results, there's no two ways about this.
So what
If
defines
there are
consistent results? What defines consistent
like-
results?
consistent trio tops?
Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
exactly. Something like
There we
that.
go.
All right, all right. A reason to
That's
pay
it.
attention to Japanese results.
All right, let's put a
Oh,
number
man.
into it. 5.
It's in stone now. It's
I
it's
say
on the
5.
internet. It's recorded.
Can you
we
type
can
this in the
post it on
tier
the
list,
forum.
please?
Yeah, type this in the tier list. 5. I want to
Got
see.
it, you
I
got
want to
it.
see 5 tops. Vegemite.
Five
what?
tops? No, not five tops because we don't have tournaments for a while.
Oh, sure,
How-
yeah, right.
How long is this? How long is
In the next
I don't
year.
know when the next
I'm
trio
gonna
is.
say in
How
the
about next ban
next.
list? Next ban
Yeah,
list?
until next ban list.
Oh, I was
Okay,
gonna say
until
until the
next
WGP. I was gonna say until the WGP season ends.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I was gonna say.
I don't think that's fair because
Oh, okay.
people won't have the cards. That's the thing.
Okay,
Oh.
I want to see 5 tops by this deck by January next year.
My next ban list, sure. Bet
January
taken.
next year.
Oh,
Bad
shit.
list. Yeah, bad
January
list is
next
fair.
year. Yeah, let's go. I want to see 5 tops.
Ban list might as well be the end of WGP season.
Yeah. But even though it's in February.
Like,
Anyway, let's quickly run through the other ones because I need to head off soon. So
Seems good. All right. Ilya, is that in the list?
Yes.
I think
No,
that's
yeah,
why
yeah,
it's-
it's here. It's here.
I think you can put Zweiform here. I think it has a very solid
Yeah. I think
TLR
White
matchup.
is lower than Kaleidoscope, but still solidly A tier.
yeah.
What else do we need to put in here? Do we have girlfriend? We have in there, yeah. Oh, sorry, Log Horizon. Log Horizon's
Log
like
Horizon, yes.
B
Really?
plus.
I think Log Horizon's.
No, I don't think Log
Really?
Horizon's A. I don't think
Really,
Log
I
Log
think
Horizon's
it's
Horizon?
I think it's A. I think it's A- at best.
B plus. That's it. That's B plus.
A minus is B plus. We don't have minuses here.
Oh, okay,
Let's
yeah.
start at
B+.
B plus.
B
B
plus then.
plus.
B plus is log.
I'm fine
Yeah.
with Log Horizon being B plus.
Where's
Log
Planet?
Horizon.
Planet is
Planet's
here.
in
Planet,
Okay.
Planet is
I-
there. Planet and Guilty Crown have the same place.
Yeah.
They are the same
Yeah,
deck.
this-
Okay.
Fair.
Love Live.
No, Love Live is not B plus.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Love Live
man.
is B. Love
It's
Live is
not.
B.
Love Live is B. I don't think it has
Love Live
enough.
is B.
Disgaea. I think Disgaea might actually be B plus now.
No,
This
No.
guy is B plus. I think I can agree with that.
no,
I don't.
think
I
so.
don't agree. What reason
I-
do you have to play Disgaea in any tournament ever?
What reason do you have to play any B tier deck?
Fun.
Roaches.
Well, Love Live you can play. Disgaea, I guess,
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel like it has any power right now.
I
Anyway,
think if
You
you're
can
gonna put
play
Love
8
Live
2
there,
souls and sack
you should put
people.
this guy there.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna head. But good to hear from you. I
Bet
will
stands.
yeah, the bet stands. I will take that up when it pops up. All right. Good luck, guys.
Vegemite.
Vegemite.
Oh boy.
Do you pop up the medalist
Schoolgirl
thing.
Strikers?
I don't know where
Schoolgirl
Probably
Strikers, I
think
think,
plus.
solely- I think you could even argue the yellow build as A, but
I agree.
it's put up so few results that I just don't know what to think. And it's
Capo.
I actually think it is a the yellow
let-
build.
let-
It's
I'm going down this list here. We can just put these put them
But
with
no,
where we find them.
the issue I have with the yellow build is why you're playing that over to Lovru in any way.
whoa.
I mean, I guess you have to
I mean,
early
let's-
play, but
Let's be real. In a lot of tournaments, you
I mean, we
bring,
just put
you bring
Excel
your
Worlds
deck,
in
and you're
A,
just like,
right?
why would you play Tuloveru? Right?
Is that fair pick?
But
well, yeah, but the decks are really similar from how they play.
let's go down this list. We already have Cell World, Attack on Titan, B plus.
I
A
think-
probably. Like I'm not
low
high
A
on
or
the deck,
high
but
B plus.
I think B plus is
it
where
has
Attack
a
on Titan
really
belongs
good
right now.
Tulovru matchup, actually.
It does have a good Tuloveru
After-
matchup. Yellow, green, red. I think right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Red,
that's
green,
what I
slash
run,
yellow.
but I don't know if other people would run that. It's hard to say.
I think yellow, green,
I-
red is right.
I think yellow, green, red for sure.
what else would you even run?
I mean, that's a good point. You need to run Mikasa, you need to run Levy, and yellow you
You
need.
need
Yeah.
to run
need
Armin.
Ban.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's see. Moving down the list, Charlotte. Charlotte B tier.
Yeah, that's solid B plus.
B
Right
plus.
now, I think it's decent.
Yeah,
I think
B+.
Charlotte is actually better than Log Horizon.
Charlotte Yusamisa.
Really hard to say.
The Capo.
Like, Horizon just always gets its advantage. The Capo
The
is
Capo
like
is B.
the Capo does nothing until the new booster.
All right. The Capo gets to be
Yeah.
in B tier.
Yeah, right now. Or
You can
even
still play it and not feel bad about it, but you
I-
need to know your metagame inside out, and
I'm
you need
skip-
to not eat bad matchups.
Nah, I'm skipping some. Daybreak Illusion skipped. Evangelion skipped. Fairy Tale. Do we have a C plus tier? I think Fairy Tale can sit there.
We're not
Whatever,
going
we don't need to
go
cover.
past it.
Yeah.
far down.
Gargantia skipped. Haruhi. Does Haruhi have any place on this
No.
tier list?
Or he is
No.
nowhere.
No.
Hatsune Miku, that goes up S tier.
I was about
Oh,
to say
yeah.
the same thing.
Stop
only
that.
only if S stands for Samsung.
Soundless here.
So we can keep that there because of the stupid meme, but I think Miku's a solid B plus tier.
Attack on. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Wait,
We're hitting
B
it.
plus, really?
wait,
I think-
no.
No.
B plus?
B. I think it's
B
around
B is
level.
best.
Oh no, no,
level
what am I
line.
saying? What am I saying? No, no, no. Yeah, I'm looking at the decks in B tier. I'm like, wait, Miku isn't quite as good as Love Live.
No.
So yeah, I'll go-
Gochi Usa. A plus.
I think the blue deck can be blue.
Or sorry, not A plus. B plus.
Blue
Blue
deck
deck
B
can be B
plus.
plus.
Blue deck can
Blue
be
could
B
be
plus.
A.
I think.
tier.
Blue could be A.
Blue could
I
be A,
think blue
but I
could
think
be
it's more likely comfortable in B plus.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't think it's quite as good as the A tier decks.
It's
Like,
pretty
it-
stable and consistent though, don't you think?
Eh?
I mean, My tier list is a little bit different because I actually have minuses, but Gochi uses scores a B on mine. So
Sure.
if
Good.
B plus here is just fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Gun
Let's see.
doesn't get anything.
Kill a kill.
Lol.
No.
Oh.
Look,
Uh,
I play that for English. Please, no.
KOF.
Yeah.
I play
If
KOF.
you want to put a LOL tier, we can start putting decks that get the
What
LOL.
about Osamatsu?
Oh,
King of Fighters goes in the lol tier.
yep, KOF.
No, I like King of Fighters. Don't put King of Fighters with Kill the Kill. That's so rude.
No, that's why we don't put Kill a Kill on that list because it's just not even lol worthy.
Lol tier. Yeah,
think
we'll get to
Osamatsu-
Osamatsu. We're just going down in alphabet.
Lucky Star.
Lucky, no, that can go in lol tier.
Macross Frontier, banned in
No.
America.
Can we
Melty
put
Blood.
LB Twins into A tier?
Yeah, sure.
I think
Yeah.
I'm really high on this deck. I don't know if it's actually an A tier, but I really like it.
We have Milky.
I think that's reasonable.
we
LB Twins is, yeah, you can make a case for A tier.
Does Nanoha make it to B tier?
No.
Yes.
I think
Nanoha
it
does.
does. I think it
Oh,
does.
the Fate build? Yeah, okay.
Okay, build,
sure.
yeah.
Nanoha.
Yeah, if you run the clone familiar build.
The Nanoha.
Okay.
Pretty strong.
The yellow-red build, actually. The
Osamatsu.
one that flashes the level
Osamatsu,
one
I think,
version.
is A.
I think Osamatsu's a pretty. It's a weird A, but it's an A nonetheless.
Yeah.
I agree.
Then again, the
Shout out
series
to
is weird,
Boy.
like so it makes sense.
It has
Yeah.
an
Like,
incredibly
cut-
annoying end game if you can't just kill them.
Did we want to put Kyokai Rene somewhere?
I have
Oh.
no
We'll
idea
get
what that
there.
deck does.
I think we put that. I don't even know if it gets tiered.
Rene?
I don't-
It's
What?
solid B. It's a solid B.
Is it?
I
Yeah.
played against it a
I think
lot.
it's at least B.
It's a solid
You
B.
could even make a case for
Alright.
B plus because you have
Alright,
anti-burn, sorta.
Seems good.
I've
Uh,
played
seems-
against it like 25
okay.
times now.
okay. Where are we at? Phantom. Phantom does not list.
No.
We skip
Um,
Persona, obviously.
Rewrite. Does rewrite list?
B.
No.
Oh, at least B. At least.
No, no way.
No.
it's
Really?
not the
We gotta
case.
wait for the new booster.
Like, if
Okay,
you want-
right, fair. I'm
if you
thinking.
want to
of-
I
visit
mean, it's.
dominant
I don't even
deck,
think
it's
it's
like punching
B
your-
right now.
yeah,
Sympho
fair
Gear.
enough.
Symphogear is B
B.
plus or
It's
A.
a
I
solid
can't
A.
comment on that
I
one.
think it's A.
You think it's
More
A?
likely.
Yeah, like yellow red or yellow red blue. They're both pretty decent decks.
I'd be fine with
I
either
think-
A or
yeah.
B plus.
Really?
I think B plus.
At A? Wow.
I think
I think B plus is the
Yeah.
highest I can give it.
I think B plus
can't
is far
comment
more
on
reasonable, but
I think
I could
reasonable.
see an argument for A, I guess. I think B plus is more reasonable though.
Eh,
What's next?
Next
Next,
Kaimon
next
skip.
is Terraformers, but I think we
It's
already
already on there.
it's
It's already on there.
Zero no Tsukaima, no.
no.
Vivid
Vivid
Red,
Operation.
no.
No.
EVs.
I like that series.
Dog Days.
Dog
B?
Days, B.
I think it's B.
Yeah, B.
Yeah, fair enough. What else is there?
Weekend Shooter.
I mean, there's
Waltz
Milky
here.
Police, which is a pretty decent deck in its own right.
Milky
I haven't
Police.
actually ever played against that.
I think it's B.
Which
Yeah,
one?
that seems- tier it.
that seems fine.
It doesn't do anything at level 3.
There's Renee, there's Shauna. Shining.
No.
B tier. It does play 11 heals very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shining is B is.
Shining's. Yeah.
And I think that's basically every set that's
It also
relevant.
has the dragon. If
Visual arts.
that's
and...
worth anything.
No.
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 I think that's basically everything that's relevant.
Did
Shioka.
we list?
Shioko?
Oh.
No.
Shioko is not
Lol
Yeah.
tier.
Did
null tier.
did we list Phantom Thieves?
S for Shioka.
Did we list Phantom at all? No, no,
No.
no, joking.
that's why it's
might
S
be better in
tier.
place. Might be better in place actually.
What's our actual decision on Miku? Is it B or nothing?
I don't think Miku
B.
ranks.
It's S tier.
It's
I think
about
it's B.
low B, but B.
Yeah, B seems good for Miku. Like it still does stuff, and Soundless Voice sometimes sacks you.
Yeah.
Yellow green.
Shin-chan?
No.
Oy. I
Alright,
don't-
we missed Shinchan.
I don't think Shinchan does anything.
I think
I
Shinchan
don't
is
either.
better than Miku.
I actually
think
agree.
Shin-chan is better than Miku too.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can agree.
Sure. I'm not actually sure what Shinchan does, but
Shinchan
It's-
has a claw kicker that searches for itself, so you can just have more claw
Yeah.
kickers.
But it has no power.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's
Just
like,
level 3 red.
Well, the red finisher is obviously better than the green one.
Why not both?
Okay.
it has
So,
a really,
double
really
die?
big 1-0. It's restricted to 1.
Oh
Where does
wait,
Dodai
I
fit into
just have to
this
do this for
team
myself,
size?
Joj.
What about Dodai?
D plus.
S tier for sadist.
Gotta be S,
Zero
man.
tier?
Lol gets to be Dodai gets to be in lol tier with Joj.
Dodai should have its own tier.
S for Satan. And the stand build of Puyo Puyo is also in Satan tier, I guess.
It's an
What else
actual
is
build.
there?
Oh,
No.
holy
Well, it's like
Jesus!
a-
You know what I just noticed?
Hmm?
Have you ever actually read this at the bottom of their translation list on Heart of the Cards?
What do they
That was
got?
actually instated shortly right after Nationals last year.
If
That was
you
actually
think,
not there before
if
that.
you think a translation is in error,
Huh.
And I knew it. A lot of people just didn't read it. I told them to
Shout
move it to
out
the
to
top.
Oshino Shinobu and Hitagi Senjogahari.
so do you think they appreciate the fact that we always point out all of their translation errors?
They actually don't know that. I'm very sure that they don't even know the channel exists.
That's wonderful. Let's keep it that way.
Oh, that's good. They can't whatchamacallit? They can't
They can't
C and
cease
D
and
us.
desist us.
Right. Look, the most productive thing that's come out of this is going to be like a 50 comment thread on Foreign, and Phil reminding me when December rolls around that no one's topped with Excel World yet. And then there'll be 5 tops and he'll have to eat a jar of Vegemite.
And it'll be on YouTube. It'll be beautiful.
God. Yeah.
Is there a
yeah,
way to
well-
post this on 2chan?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do it. If you want to post this tier list on 2chan, that's fine. You can think of this as the international community that's not Japan. Or at least, like...
They're just wondering who Samson is.
We have like someone from everywhere.
Samson's band of memers. That is top tier tiers.
We have someone from everywhere besides, like, actually
Except
Japan.
Asia, I guess.
We used to have someone from Asia, but I think he stopped playing Weiss.
He quit, yeah.
Yeah.
Asia.
Maxima.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh.
right.
Was a
he's-
sad day.
He still follows
alright.
it.
He still
doesn't-
follows it.
Yeah, he just doesn't play anymore.
Mhm.
Like, we used to have someone who was, like, active in the Asian community, particularly around Hong Kong. And Singapore,
Yeah.
of course, but now he doesn't
That's
play
where we
with
got all our information. He's still really active when it comes to stuff like Love Live Sunshine, but that's just
Yeah.
did we cover everything? Well, have we tiered the other Fate builds like Ryder and Rin Archer?
I mean, if Terraformers is in B+, then Ryder is better than Terraformers at being Ryder.deck, but not
fine,
like
but
enough
it's
to
still
be
in-
above.
Still in B+ tier.
Yeah, it's
sure.
like it's still not A tier. It's just like it's better than Terraformers at doing that. I mean, like basically the difference between the two decks is like Ryder has a much better level 1 game, but then Terraformers has like a better top end, I guess, between Musashi and several different options for climax combos.
Do we
Well,
tier
the
yellow?
top
Oh,
and is
Ryder
really
has
Sevilla.
Sashi.
And the early
And
play
a
in
pretty
Ryder
good
is so much
fucking
better
rate.
than the early play in Terraformers.
The early play in Terraformers is incredibly mediocre, but you play it anyways. I mean, I used to not play it, but you play it anyways. Like,
Which early play is this?
it's Joseph.
Okay.
So, like,
Yeah.
as a point of reference, you know, when they were statting up Yami, they used Joseph as their baseline, right? And that's why we got
Right.
this monstrosity. Because Joseph is 8,500 power base with the level 3 effect, the hexproof effect, and then early play effect. So they just, like, transferred it. Early play turned the climax combo, the level 3 effect turned into draw 2 ditch 1 instead of heal, and then still had the hexproof text. So it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like, this is their exact thought process when they're making Yami. I'm being complete, like, this climax combo
Yami
is
exists
okay.
because of Joj.
It exists because of Joj.
Thanks,
Mhm.
Bushiroad.
As a point of reference, Joseph is the first time this effect has appeared in this way, so it's because of Joj.
All right.
Thanks.
I think we've got a pretty comprehensive list this time that specifically has SAO in it. Do we
Oh.
tier SAO like Def Gun or Red Blue builds?
No.
The Death Gun
No.
Lisbeth Accelerate could go into B tier minimum.
But
I
don't-
think so as well. It's really good.
Okay, I haven't played against that.
I mean, it's bad for the same same reason that Accelerate is bad, but it does have a really good top end. No one plays around it. Right?
And
It's
before
hard
the new
to play.
Accelerate, Excel World build, that was the only actual Accelerate build.
Mm.
I'm just looking at this list and I'm realizing how many of these decks just play the exact same way now, and like how this
Yeah.
tier list is getting more and more meaningless.
Besides Little Busters.
I feel like
And-
A plus is probably like your most like varied tier.
It is.
the
Well, I
most
mean, no, S
interesting
tier
tier.
is. There's Two Lover and Miku.
Oh, okay, sure.
Good point. They're still completely different.
I still
Um,
think there's enough variety in A tier too.
Yeah. Look, the thing about this list is it follows a kind of bell curve, and that's really good.
Yeah, but then you
In
remember
terms
that
of-
like the bell curve has an extra hump at the bottom.
Sure, sure. But the thing is, if a game has this many viable A and A plus tier decks, because if we're using A and A plus as a strict definition of decks you'll take to a tournament and not feel bad about and have a competent chance of winning with, that's a very healthy game. Especially when there are so many different there are minor differences in the very similar decks. Like some of them are like top check, some of them are check top 4, some of them are search. This is obviously level 1 climax combos. Some of them are on reverse, some of them are just field-based advantage. There's a lot of diversity in the tier list as a whole, and I think that's a sign of a very healthy game. It's only possible because Wise's mechanics mean that you can do all these strategies and it's all fine. But I don't know. It's really hard to go to a tournament with Tulavu and expect to do better than if you had taken, say, IMR7 Namco Pro or Index or whatever. And that's a little disheartening, but it's part of the game we play.
What can be said for comfort in a Swiss format?
I mean,
As I'm sure you
like-
would know,
best of threes, please.
Alfred.
Yeah, I'm stupid. Don't mind me.
Best of threes,
At
please.
this point, I'm not like I think that Total is definitely still S tier, but I don't think it's as far ahead of A plus as it used to be.
Well, that's
I
the whole
agree.
idea about the whole bell curve thing. I mean, like it's actually
Yeah.
kind of short in between those two.
Well, I mean, a lot of the decks that also sit at A plus tier are partially there because they do have reasonable matchups against Two Lover, right? Like
Yeah.
Puyo
Right.
Puyo would be
Lover is
considered
definitely
favored.
And when
it's
they say
definitely not the
Telever,
most
they actually mean
egregious.
yellow green.
I mean, like Index is also like I think a very solid deck when I'm playing against Two Lover. It's the deck that I go to if I think I want to be playing against Two Lover all day.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's just like the way Two Lovers endgame is lined up is like the fact that you have the heal counter is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not the most egregious S tier deck in this game's history.
Where
For
in
sure.
the
Definitely not.
Oh yeah, TLR Aliens is on here.
Is it even tier?
Stick yellow red over in mall tier.
Lol tier. It can sit in lol tier. I mean, you topped with it,
Oh,
right?
the Nemesis deck. Oh,
Nemesis is a fine deck.
It's fine.
We actually got Nemesis to work, and I'm gonna be trying out a variant of it.
So
no,
it-
it works very well. It's a very
The deck is fine. It's just why would you
The
play?
deck is carried pretty hard by the support that's busted.
Yeah, we managed to throw that into a Yami shell.
I mean, the way I
So-
see it, the best cards in the Nemesis deck is one, the back row, and then two, the 0/0.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
2 soul 0/0. That card is heinous.
yeah, that's why we played those both in a Yami shell. With the level 3 Nemesis is like a 1 or 2 of.
So you're just really hoping you
But
just
at
like
1 or 2,
see it
you
in the
don't
first two
really
turns,
get the
right?
resonance.
Like we like in I think we built it on Sunday. We got in what 20 games already with it,
Oh,
and
how-
we missed it once.
So what do you count as miss? Miss by what turn?
We missed it before first refresh.
I think that still counts as a miss for me. If you're not
no,
hitting it
that's
by
a
the
miss.
if you're not hitting it by the first 3 turns, that's a miss for me.
deck control
by
is
the
at
first
a
3 turns,
premium.
then
at
okay, we can
level-
expand the misses to like 3.
3.
It was super consistent.
So you're actually
Oh my goodness,
So how many of the drop search are you running to make this happen then?
3.
That explains it.
Just replaces
At
the
that
35.
point, I don't think if it's worth
I
to
feel like
walk
you're
your
wasting
deck
searches.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the deck needs that though, so much that you'd warp your build to include cards that exists solely to enable this additional deck control, which the deck doesn't even need.
Fair enough.
I don't
But
know
it's
if the
just
deck
nice to be able
control
to go
is
through your actual
necessarily
deck, though. It's
better.
hard to mill through that deck if you don't replay all these mill Mekons.
It is true. The
I-
deck
you
doesn't
can still
necessarily
go
mill
through your.
outrageously fast.
I mean, you still go through a good portion of your deck. You have a search event. You have the Mekons.
The search
Like a
event
search,
is
like
so
you have
good.
the. I'm talking. Yeah.
That search event is insanely good.
It's like a 1/1 search 2 ditch 1. That's still dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why the promo Yami is like $30 is
Yeah.
because it's something that you can hit with that event.
I'm never
You
getting a full
can
play
just
set.
play the 1065. It's not the worst thing
I
in
know.
the world.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Wait, which one?
The 1065 that kills another level 1 at your.
The Vermilion
I
Uppercut.
don't think that's really good inclusion
like, even
because
then,
you
like, I
actually
would still
pump for
run-
your Mekons.
I would still search up the 2/1 2-soul Nemesis first.
That's
Yeah,
what I
well-
usually do if I don't have the 1-0.
Yeah, if you've got enough attackers, then sure, go ahead for that. But sometimes you don't have enough attackers.
If I don't have enough attackers, then I'm just sad, right?
Mm.
I mean, normally I don't expect to sit at level 1 for that long.
I don't expect to sit at
anyway.
level 1 longer than a turn anymore.
Yeah, I think like if I hit level 1 first, I'm probably playing my level 1 characters for 2
Just
turns.
slam Climax. Just do it.
I mean, that's why I like Index, though. You just slam Climaxes. What 8 Climaxes are you running? Just these because I want to, not because I need them.
You have to run Global Soul. That's all that matters.
I mean, like, right now, my split is 4 2-soul, 6 book, 2 2-soul. But I only played the 2 souls because it has Thoma's face on it.
I think 2 souls are really good in Index,
I agree.
and I think more people should play them.
I actually agree doubly so, because Index can lose the damage race at level 1 pretty badly, because you're sacking field and taking lots of extra damage from empty slots.
Not only that, and Index and Yoka pretty much always wants to side.
Yes. Yes. 2 souls good. So this is the tier list, I guess, as it is.
Yeah, we've kind of
I
run
think so.
dry.
I don't know if there's any objections.
Besides the whole Excel world weird.
Excel World is...
No, I think it's definitely an A tier.
I think it's A. I don't know about A+, but I think, like, A is
There's
fine.
this weird dance you play with deck control at level 3 that can result in the career gaming being significantly better than without.
Then
I don't
what
know,
it
like-
looks like, right?
I think the
Yeah.
inability to dig for the climax is still a big problem. And then
I
on
just
top
think-
of that, a vulnerability
Fate
to
Master can't
anti-damage
dig
is
for.
also a
There's
problem.
like other many ways for
Fate
Fate to
Master
dig for
can
healing.
dig for its Climax.
It runs the same amount of draw 2 ditch 1 cards as Excel World does.
No, it runs a top check X. Checking 5 and checking 2 is very much of a difference.
I think the reason our reluctance to put in an A+ tier is just we've been so used to Excel World being bad that we really don't want to make it good.
I haven't been playing Weiss long enough to remember when Excel World has been bad. I never had to play against it.
Don't worry. It's just it doesn't do anything, and now it does.
You know what? I'm still waiting for Star Wars to get released sometime next year so I can add another meme set to my sets of terrible decks that I own.
And shot
Point out
first
that
plus 2 soul.
Bushy Road is doing another game. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, they kind of announced the last Nosio, whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
Oh, real
But what,
time.
they announced P5 as well, right? So
Yeah,
before
P5
the
's
No, they
December.
haven't announced it. It's people who got in to TGS as business.
oh, they got to see it.
Yeah, they saw it.
So the question is whether or not P5 is going to be Neo Standard with the rest of Persona.
Oh no, it's Neo Standard.
It's going to be Neo Standard.
It should be Neo Stand. I think it is likely, but I would not like put money on it right now.
I don't know why it wouldn't be if 3 and
It's not
4
the same-
are
it's
not
Neo
the-
standard.
3 and 4
same
actually
universe.
happen in the same
universe.
universe.
Yeah, 3 and 4 are in the same universe. That's why P4U can happen. That's why there's Yukiko is in P3 Portable, and one of the cities from P3 is the field trip place in P4. So
Wait,
it's
Yukiko is
same-
in P3 portable?
yeah, Yukiko. It's one of. Wait,
You mean P4 Portable?
it's in one of Yuka's social link things. They go running in Oh, I forgot what the town's called. They go running in
Inaba?
Inaba. That's right, and they just run across Yukiko.
Hmm.
Yeah, the more you.
Huh, did not know that.
But isn't P3 happening like before P4?
P3
Yeah.
happens
Yes.
like 8 years before
Yes,
P4.
that's why Yukiko was like a middle schooler or something in
Oh,
the
okay. Okay.
yeah. So it is same universe. P5 is so far unknown, and if it is known, it's only the news is only on like 2chan or whatever because it's only in Japanese right now. But
My friends
eagerly
play
awaiting Yukata support.
Do we go ahead and buy executions?
If you haven't
I
yet,
already had my deck.
I mean, if
you know what?
if you're not a filthy secondary, then you already
I
have
still
them.
need to pick up 2 more of the ninjas for my KOF deck.
He's the brainstorm.
Yeah.
How do you play that deck without the brainstorm at full?
You
Poorly.
play 2 souls and hope.
You don't even get to like you get to play 4 2 souls. I run 4 gates. I also run the
Why don't you
1-2 salvage 2 event
Why don't you run 8-2 souls like a real man?
because I need the gates to trigger. I'm not even joking. And like
But just use I.
the other problem that I run into is like I need to have the 1-2 event and to be able to salvage with it. But I only have 5 Kyos in the deck, and that's the only card in my deck that can actually let me play that event.
Fair enough.
Seems
Alright.
good.
It's
I
it's full of questionable decisions.
mean that ties up the tier list stuff. Does anyone else have anything they want to raise before we bring this to a close?
Um,
Doesn't
No.
seem like. No.
What are you guys playing at the WGP? If you haven't played already.
I have a free pass in action, so
765.
I'm not playing anything early on.
I'll either be playing Kantai or Televery, most likely.
I'm either gonna be playing To Lover or Joj.
If I
Play
if I was
Gigant
planning-
Shooter. You...
I'm
I could play
considering.
Gigant Shooter
Hey,
as well.
hey, Giant Shooter was 3rd or something in Europe?
In Italy.
Can we?
No, it
can we
was
only talk
2nd
about
in
real
Italy, and it
places?
was...
I'm not convinced Europe exists anymore.
Wait,
just because they won with Charlotte last year.
Oh well, that's fine. I'm sure the Charlotte player was decent.
But GST topped.
it was green-blue.
GST
Okay, I
topped.
take that back. That is very unfortunate.
I
She
mean,
was a great person to talk to. I'll tell you that much.
hey,
I'm sure she was a really nice person, but that doesn't reflect
She's
on
also not. She's also a decent player. I just think the build was very bad. Like I don't know what you played at in Japan, but I just knew
Same
what you
thing. The
played
very
in-
same thing.
Okay.
I still think it's great that GST topped. GST will forever have the best on attack reveal top effect of any deck. I don't know if anyone can really top that effect as it is printed in GST.
Haruna is about the same. Doesn't get the power, but
I mean,
Encore is.
Encore is nice, but being 8,500 power is sweet, and that's without back rows.
Yeah, no, that's fair, I suppose.
It's-
Right. Well, if that's that, then I guess we can wrap it up. That's our biannually tier list plus or minus memes. You'll notice that the meme quantity died down significantly when resident Australian left the chat.
I mean, the meme count died substantially even after like the Dota game ended.
Yes,
It
I still
actually,
want.
it actually like kind of hit a peak before we even started the video, probably.
I think that's probably
Something about Jim Henson.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh god.
Anyway,
Why am I thinking about green, yellow Gochiusa?
oh, did we tier that?
We put
You
Gochi
don't
Usa
tier that,
blue.
no.
No, I don't
Well-
think it's yours.
Really?
No.
You don't think it's even B tier?
I think it's worse than Death Gun.
All right. No, I think that's. I can agree with that. I think Def Gun is underrated.
I mean, if you hit the event and are a Saklot, then sure, it's somewhere.
The most consistent build doesn't run the event. That's how sad it is.
That event is
I
such
don't
YOLO.
think that seems correct.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's correct or not. I'm just saying like the most consistent version of it, aka it's not that good, doesn't run the event.
If you're
That's
not playing
fair.
the event, I don't know why you're
You-
playing the deck.
Exactly.
That is the thing. You can't play the deck without playing the event if you want to like actually choose a good deck for a tournament.
What deck? are we talking-
I'm more thinking actually green red.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, doesn't the clock kick like only get power when you have the
I'm not too
green
worried
and
about
yellow
that.
cards?
Not too worried about that. I have something else in mind.
Okay, I don't know.
Something weird.
Yep. All right. So if that's all we've got, then that's all we've got. We've ended up with a tier list and a fair amount of good discussion, memes notwithstanding. So once again, this is the top tier tiers team plus a bunch of other chaps. We had Phil from Make Marika Great. We've got thenightsshadow from Climax Phase, and we've got
Tim Tom the Bim Bomb.
oh, I guess you're part of the top tier meme dream team.
Oh, I see.
Am I
at this
still part of
You
it?
don't even get your own special mention.
Yeah, shout outs to Butts and
But
Coconuts.
I just
Amsterdam
did get my
Hop.
own special mention.
Shout out to Butts and Coconuts for not making it here.
Yeah.
You mean
He was
Samson Chow?
Yes.
Yeah, Samson
Yeah.
Chow. He will live on in our hearts. He will live on in our dreams. So once again, that's from everyone here. Thank you for listening. If you've got any feedback, you've got any arguments, any decks you thought we missed, or if you've got any questions about what we placed, because we obviously didn't discuss every deck, feel free to post it in the comments section. Feel free to post it in response to the blog post on Reddit, anywhere, and we'll get back to you. Hopefully this has given you some information, some insight that you can use for your upcoming WGP season. And hopefully everyone's taken away something from this cast, even if it's the knowledge that there is going to be one poor chap eating a jar of Vegemite in next. So
We'll make sure to record that and put it on someone's YouTube channel.
Yeah. All right. From all of us, thank you for listening. This is lycheepunnet and the top tier tiers meme dream team plus guests signing off.